a unique opportunity for anime and manga fans. If you're a One Piece fan, I'm sure you'd love to draw your favorite characters. Now you can get 2 amazing books for free. The first book will teach you drawing techniques, and the second one will show you how to create art directly on your phone without even needing to draw. You'll be able to create stunning virtual artwork just like the one on your screen right now. Both books are completely free if you act fast and click the link in the description. Don't waste time. This is a one-of-a-kind opportunity. Hey there, pirates. Welcome aboard the Anime No Me channel. Rox D. Xebec is a figure shrouded in mystery and power, his name echoing like a forgotten legend, laden with the remnants of a dark and hidden past. It is remarkable how he managed to gather such a powerful crew that would shape the future of piracy. And even more intriguing, how his legacy was practically erased from history. He wasn't just an ambitious pirate. Rox seemed to be a man with much grander motivations, ambitions that went beyond treasure and fame. His declared desire to become the king of the world seems to hint at a deeper, perhaps even philosophical goal that shook the very foundations of the world government itself. Establishing himself on Hachinosu, the island that would later be known as the Pirate Paradise, and now serves as the base for Marshal D. Teach, Rox began building his empire. Teach's choice to name his ship the Saber of Xebec cannot be overlooked, as it suggests a symbolic or even ideological connection to the former pirate. This raises a fascinating question. Is Teach simply honoring Rox? Or is there something more? Perhaps a bloodline or legacy connection? But let's return to the formation of Rox's crew. It's almost unbelievable that one person managed to gather such iconic names: Shiki, the Golden Lion who rivaled Gall D. Roger and commanded the largest fleet of his time; Big Mom, a Yonko whose power and influence shaped the new world; Kaido, the immortal Yonko, whose strength is considered unmatched; and Edward Newgate, the Whitebeard, the strongest man in the world. Each of them carved their own path and became a living legend, but for a brief period, they fought under Xebec's command. This makes us wonder, what kind of power and charisma did Xebec possess to attract such figures? It's clear he wasn't just an ordinary pirate. He wasn't after riches alone. He wanted something far greater. His direct confrontation with the world government, and especially with the Tenryubito, proves this. The Battle of God Valley, where he ultimately met his end, is one of the most significant and enigmatic events in the history of One Piece. But before we delve into the battle itself, we need to understand Xebec's targets. The Tenryubito and God Valley. The Tenryubito, or world nobles, are the descendants of 19 of the 20 kingdoms that formed the world government. They are the absolute elite, controlling the world with an iron fist. God Valley, on the other hand, was a meeting place for these nobles, a symbol of their power and isolation. The fact that Xebec attacked this place wasn't just an act of piracy. It was a declaration of war against the oldest and most established power structure in the world. The Battle of God Valley was historic for several reasons. First, the unlikely union of Gall D. Roger and Monkey D. Garp, 2 antagonistic forces who teamed up to defeat Rox. Second, the total destruction of the island, which vanished completely, along with nearly all information about the confrontation. Roger and Garp's victory marked the end of the Rox crew, but the cost was the complete erasure of their history. This wasn't a coincidence. The world government, in its relentless pursuit of control, made sure to wipe Rox and his ideals from the collective memory. However, what motivated Rox to confront the world government so directly? Here enters a fascinating theory. What if Rox wasn't originally a D? And what if he adopted this initial as a way to challenge the Tenryubito and their ideals? We know that the D is feared by the world nobles, who tell stories about this name as though it were a curse. But why would Rox take on this title? Perhaps he knew the true meaning of the D and used it as an ideological weapon against his enemies. What if, more than that, Rox D. Xebec was originally a Tenryubito? What if he was a Gorosei, who turned against the system he himself helped build? This would explain his obsession with overthrowing the world nobles and his desire to become the king of the world. The empty throne, secretly occupied by Imu, is the center of world power, and Xebec may have sought to take that place for himself. Imu, as the central figure of the world government, represents the pinnacle of the hierarchy. The empty throne symbolizes that no king rules the world, but the reality is that Imu occupies this space, controlling everything from the shadows. If Xebec knew this, his ambition to become the king of the world would take on a whole new meaning. He wanted to usurp Imu's throne. Perhaps this revelation was the tipping point for his expulsion from the Gorosei, if he indeed was a member of them. Furthermore, the erasure of Xebec's history might have involved the use of the national treasure of Mariajoie, a secret so powerful that Doflamingo mentioned it could turn the world upside down. This same power might have been used to eliminate the memory of Xebec and his deeds, just as it was used to obscure the lost century and the name of the Great Kingdom. This reinforces the idea that Xebec was a threat as great as Joy Boy himself to the established order. If Rox truly was a former Tenryubido or even a Gorosei, his choice to name himself a D would have been an act of unprecedented rebellion. He didn't just challenge the system, he declared war on the very essence of the world noble's power. This would also explain why the pirates who followed him, like Big Mom and Kaido, refused to talk about him. Perhaps their silence is not just out of respect, but also out of fear of the repercussions of mentioning someone so directly linked to the world government structure. Finally, there's the question of Monkey D. Luffy. Many theorize that Luffy could be a descendant of Rox D. Xebec, which would add a new level of complexity to the story. Teach, with his ship named after Xebec, could be another heir to his legacy, but in a more direct or symbolic way. If Luffy is indeed a descendant of Xebec, this would explain his natural position as an antagonist to the world government and his unyielding spirit of freedom. After all, the D in his name could be more than just a legacy. It could be an inheritance of challenge and rebellion. If Luffy is truly descended from Rox D. Xebec, this would also raise questions about how his relationship with the D connects to past events. Is he the culmination of generations of resistance to the world government, or is there something even deeper in his lineage? Luffy's struggle to become the Pirate King could reflect Xebec's struggle to become the king of the world, but with a more pure and selfless goal. Now, since we're talking about mysteries, let's dive into even more conspiratorial territory. Did Xebec really die in the Battle of God Valley? We know that Gall D. Roger and Monkey D. Garp defeated him, but no source has truly confirmed whether his body was found or if he was definitively eliminated. The disappearance of God Valley might have been such a catastrophic event that even that was erased. But what if Xebec managed to survive, even if on the brink of death? Remember how the world of One Piece is filled with unexpected returns of characters we thought were out of the picture? Perhaps the silence surrounding Xebec isn't just the result of historical manipulation, but also a collective effort to hide the fact that he, in some way, still exists or left a plan in motion. And what if the connection with Teach is deeper than just a name? Many fans speculate that Blackbeard could be Xebec's son, or at least have inherited directly some part of his will. The theory gains even more weight when we recall Teach's peculiarities, such as his unique ability to possess two Akuma no Mi, something that defies all the laws of the world we know. Is this just a coincidence, or is there something in Teach's body that links him directly to Xebec? Perhaps he has genetic inheritances, or even fragments of Xebec's soul, considering that Oda has already played with concepts of lineage and spiritual powers at various points in the story. Within this context, we cannot forget the rivalry between Xebec and Roger. What if Xebec and Roger were more similar than we would like to admit? Both had crews made up of incredibly powerful pirates. Both challenged the world government, and both were men the world could not ignore. However, the fundamental difference between them seems to have been their purpose. Roger wanted freedom, while Xebec wanted power. But what if Xebec's obsession with power was actually an attempt to protect something or someone? Think about it. Xebec led a crew full of monsters, but did he have ties to someone that made him believe that to change the world, he needed to be crueler than anyone else? The idea of Xebec having descendants also opens up an interesting door. I've already mentioned the possibility of Luffy being one of them, but what if this relationship isn't direct? What if Xebec is an ancestor of another central figure, someone whose lineage connects Roger's era to the new era? We know that the D is passed down through generations, but it has never been clarified exactly how. It could be something of blood, but it could also be a symbol passed down to those who carry the will to confront the gods of the world. In this case, Xebec could have been one of the greatest Ds of all time, someone whose legacy lives not in one person, but in many. Anyway, Rox D. Xebec is a figure whose mystery and impact transcend generations. His name, his deeds, and his ambition continue to shape the world of One Piece in ways we are only beginning to understand. Whether through his crew, his confrontation with the world government, or his possible connection with Luffy, Xebec remains an enigma, a forgotten piece of a story that may still change everything. But what do you think of these possibilities? That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.